Now we're going to talk about the convergence of networks and security. What is actually going on here? What's the topic we're discussing?
So things like branch offices, campuses, traditionally we backhaul all of that with a VPN to a central location or a data center, and that's where we perform the inspection. But we need the convergence for end user experience. It enhances the application performance significantly. Like think of an ATM. When you go with your car, you can go there before a couple of years ago. It communicated back and forth at a home office and it was no problem at all. But now I can get my smartphone. I can initiate a deposit. I can have a QR code and drive right up to the drive-through, swipe it, and within seconds, I'm going to have money in my hand. So that's really why you need the convergence of network and security. And then there's some bonuses on there. The security first approach not only integrates security in the network, but it also expands visibility in your network. So it allows things like policies and configurations to be automated and enables issues to be detected and resolved in real time.
But what about the argument where people say security should be happening at a level above the network? The network shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter where you are. The same policies should be applied universally.
So I think that does apply, but networking and security are the same thing. It's really the transfer of packets. So it's inspecting the packets or not inspecting the packets. That's really how I break down the convergence. I think data security is going to be where it's going to be stored, the centralized location for the data, but I think more for the branches and the campus, that's where the security and networking convergence is going to happen. But anything with a big data set or anything like that, it's usually or most likely will be in a centralized location.
Organizationally, what is this convergence of network and security going to require?
So it's going to require network automation. So give you more flexible, programmable, scalable, network infrastructure that requires, less manual intervention to keep up with the digital acceleration pace of your business. It's going to require a high level collaboration between your development teams, your IT operations teams, and your network security teams, which is difficult, as we all know. Network and security teams are going to have to start sharing tools, data, processes, and work closer together. I think a lot of functionalities are going to overlap with the two teams under the CIO organization and the CISO organization. The partnership definitely accelerated with remote work and COVID and cloud adoption, but it's not going away. And I think the partnership is challenging. It greatly improves operational efficiencies, but it also lowers cybersecurity risk. But it's difficult because each person does not want to give up control of any one or multiple areas.
Which is where sharing tools comes into play.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Well, what's the big thing most people don't think about when they think about NetSecOps?
So I think they all look at the performance increase over there. It's a performance to end users, to applications, the security aspect. What they don't see is the cost savings. So things like an SD-WAN, a software-defined wider network, it's less money than a traditional WAN with the hardware cost because it uses software for encrypted tunnels. So I think it's an added benefit, but it's not the driving factor for this.
So basically what you're saying is people look at the convergence of network operations and security operations and go, well, we're going to do this because it improves cybersecurity. They don't realize it also reduces costs. I agree.
Correct. And also performance. It increases user experience and user experience and performance of applications.
Can you give an example of how that might work? How is the user experience better?
I would probably go back to the ATM example again, because you can literally go up. We're both in New York. If you have a QR code and you have to wait a couple seconds, the person behind you is going to beep the horn like crazy. Again, you can have money in a few seconds.
That's a very, very concrete example. Okay, is there anything else that you have to say on the topic of the convergence of network and security?
I just think there's a lot more applications or hardware that is doing more with less. So it's really a convergence of security point products that's also leading to this thing. So instead of just a firewall, you have a next generation firewall that is doing a lot more than it just used to be. It's not just looking at packets, IP addresses, and addresses. So there's a lot more intelligence going in, and devices are doing more.
So to make all this work, in sum, you need converged teams, you need shared tools, and you need high performance tools.
That's definitely correct. And I think the converged teams are kind of following the product convergence. I think there's a lot of overlap in there.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you.